Salam alaikum. Namaste. Hola. Oti. Salama Barak Salama. Shalom. How you doing, brothers? This is, again, we're sitting here, talking about this reparations thing that we've been talking about. We done passed this thing all over the world, as you've seen from our special that we had. We done been, and we was at the city council meeting. You saw that. We presented this proposal there. We took it to Durban, South Africa. We met with all our people, all the people from our Pacific tribe there, called the Limba, across South Africa, what you call here black Jews or black Hebrews or whatever you want to call it, people of the book. And we sat down and we dealt with all, we dealt with all, basically from here to New York to Frisco to again to Africa, and we. Now we're going to be that we deserve reparations. The only nation that hadn't signed is the United States and Israel. So this is why we're right now stepping up our communication, our cries to the United States government saying, let us go with our reparations. So the fact is that the United States government has been able to drop food, drop food on the enemy to the degree which is what, $300 million worth of food, or at least what they say, $30 million, I believe, worth of food. And they say it's 30 million black folks here in the United States. So they could have gave each one of us exactly what we asking for, that reparations money, to leave with our money, along with Thomas Jefferson Bill's proposed on the front line, fighting 2 methods or 3 methods, to the degree in which what the brother had to go through there, and also the fearlessness in which the brother had to even deal with that situation. But the fact is, so now we're going to introduce you to brother. This is brother A-Rock. I call the brother A-Rock. What's your whole name, brother?
A-Rock, Rashid Williams.
Rashid Williams. Brother, hey, how we doing, man? It's good to have you here.
All right, it's a pleasure to be here.
Man, I'm just used to calling you A-Rock, man. You just like a rock. So, brother, this show is centered around reparations and black people on the front line. And you one of those brothers right now that's on the front line in the current war. And we asking for reparations. And the fact is, brother, by you being here today, and even by you being man enough to fight for this country, because we both love this country.
Exactly.
You see, and the fact is that, but again, it doesn't appear that our government want to treat us as equal citizens. So what's your story, brother? What do you have to say in reference to the reparations and reference to what's going on? And just tell a story, for one thing, about what happened with you in Iraq. You was in Iraq, right, brother?
Yeah, from Saudi Arabia to Iraq and on to Kuwait. It was a mission that we had to accomplish. And we dropped in like May of 1990, and we stayed for like 6 months. We left like that Christmas or that New Year's. When we first got there, it was like we prepared for the ground war. The ground war hadn't started yet, so it was a lot of preparations, before then. But then the ground war started, and we advanced on, and when we advanced, it was like, it was a thing whereas they had us believing, and to this day, to a certain degree, it's supposed to be about unity. You know what I mean? Everybody is supposed to be looked upon as green and not black and white, but being in the military for 3 years and 8 months, I started to see that the same problems that exist out here, they exist within the confines of the military structure also.
So we're not all just green, brother. Then we're not all just green in the military. That just the issue of black and white exists everywhere we go.
Right, regardless to where you go. I mean, you can go to a different country or whatever. It's still going to be there. For the simple fact that you got guys, white guys, Chinese guys, some maybe Saudi Arabian guys within the military who never really had the opportunity to rub elbows with the brothers. You know what I mean? So
Been fighting in every major war. And I understand the fact of the military code of honor of keeping this within the family. But the fact is that there is an American family. And there's a family that's greater than the military family is greater than the American family. It's called a family of truth, a family of honor. And we're men of honor. And God-fearing men go beyond country, go beyond personality. It goes beyond anything because that's the family of the world. Right. So the fact is that right now we're dealing with the issue of reparations. And we're dealing with the issue of equality. And what we're saying is that up until this point, America hasn't been able to treat us equal.
right.
And the fact is that if we continue to sit back and assume that just because we can sit on the toilet stool with someone at this point, we're equal. You see what I'm saying? Then that's a deception. We're deluding ourselves. Exactly. So our program is saying, give us our reparations to money to leave.
Exactly.
And so the whole point, your whole story, as you said, you want to take a break. Your whole point of saying, and as these pictures that we're showing, you can see the slaughter. People died, and you could have been one of those people that would have died without a weapon.
Right, and you know that was a really a serious issue over there to the point where I had to have a congressional investigation sent down on my whole division while I was over there. See the course of events that took place, and we're not going to say that it was a white and black thing. It was a thing where one of my own brothers, you know, one night in the middle of the ground war, while we were in the tank, M113, you know, it's the smaller tank. You know, we got into a verbal argument or words were exchanged, and this the same, the guy I'm speaking of had that same rank.
The staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant, you know, and he called me outside the tank one night during this ground war. We was stationed, we had stopped in the midst of the battle, you know, and it's so dark outside you can hardly see your hand in front of your face, you know, and he was so upset that there's nobody out here but me and him, but he asked me to do an about face while he held his weapon and I held mine, you know, and at the time I'm understanding that what's done in the field stays in the field, so we still men here, you know. So at that time I sort of disobeyed his order. I wouldn't say a lawful order, but I disobeyed his order to do the about face, which the way we're gonna put it is turn my back on this man with a weapon, you know, my brother soldier, you know, with a weapon. So at that time I didn't do it. He drew his weapon on me. And at that time, I drew my weapon back on him, and we stared each other eye to eye. Now, keep in mind, now this is my staff sergeant, who I'm supposed to listen to and follow his orders, trust him to lead me through battle.
I understand.
Okay, so when I didn't do this, you know, after he seen this look, we stared each other down at gunpoint. I guess God just caused a ceasefire right there.
Hallelujah.
And broke that apart. So we got back in the tank, and it was a done deal for that night.
Well, see, the fact is that, you know, once, you know, what was ever going on, brother, you know, we understand, and Malcolm X said this clearly, is that you have house niggas and field niggas.
Right.
So a lot of times when people can't do what they want to do to you directly, they always send a house nigga to do it for them.
Exactly.
So the point is, but get back to the issue, brother, of how you were there without a weapon.
Right. Well, the next morning, after that incident took place, I thought it was a dead issue. You know, I thought as men we squashed that. But I was awakened by my whole chain of command. I had to go see the commander in the commander's tent. You know, and when I got inside the tent, I had the staff sergeant, my platoon leader, my squad leader, my whole chain of command was with me. And I immediately was told to get at the position of attention, which means I don't say nothing. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to tell my story to the commander because, you know, he's going to go with what his higher-ups going to say.
We understand that.
So at that time, you know, the commander was so upset, you know, he paced back and forth and he said certain things to me, you know, things that brought tears to my eyes. And at one point, he even threatened to shoot me if he told me that his exact words were, if he heard of me or got word of me ever threatening another one of his NCOs, he would personally shoot me in my head with his .45 and place me in the pit that we had set up for the POWs. And at that time, he ordered that my higher-ups confiscated all my ammunition.
Okay.
And but when he did that, he didn't remove me from out of the situation I was in. We kept driving on every day, 5:55 in the morning, stand to where we getting up in our foxholes on point, ready for attack, any kind of attack, securing the perimeter every morning. And while the rest of my squad, my company, the battalion, while all of them was armed and ready for battle, I stood with an empty weapon. And this went on for about 2 months.
About 2 months.
Yeah.
And see, you know, we understand the fact, because we understand military discipline. We understand, you know, you're supposed to follow the direct order.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? We understand that you do not draw your weapon on a fellow soldier. We understand that. And we understand that the situation in which you went before the commanding officer, platoon, the staff sergeant, what did you say, the staff sergeant?
Right, and he was the commander of the platoon.
You see him say you went for the platoon sergeant, staff sergeant. And so the fact is that he indicated that he would discipline you to the degree if you ever did that again. And that was, and to me that was all. And he let you. You know now that place your life. That jeopardizes the soldier. If you have a problem with disciplining a soldier, you send him to the stockade. If you have a problem with that soldier, you keep him behind.
Right.
You see, because now you're jeopardizing the whole platoon. Because one man can jeopardize the whole platoon. And if that one man is to the degree where he felt that he would jeopardize that platoon, he stays behind. He don't go out front.
Exactly.
But the fact is, but you do not send one man out front without a weapon.
Exactly.
You see, so again, see the thing is, the unfortunate thing is that we are black men, and we are strong. And the fact is that we understand how to take orders.
Exactly.
But then at some point in time, this is when the race card come in at, because if you would you have did that to a white soldier? You see what I'm saying? And that's the issue and that's the question we got to ask. Would you have did that to a white soldier? And in the military at this point, you brought mention to the staff sergeant rank. I wear the staff sergeant rank because again my father was in the military.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I've had people in the military all the way back to the Revolutionary War.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And and at this point, uh, uh, my great grandfather fought in the World War. And the Germans told him when they caught him. He told us this story. When the Germans caught him, and they asked him, they said, "Why are you over here fighting?
This is not your war."
This is not your war. Why are you over here fighting, nigga?" He said, "You don't have rights at home to sit on the toilet stool." And my grandfather looked at him and said, "I'm an American." He said, "I'm American." He said, "You at war with my country. I'm going to fight for my country." And this is the reason, and this is the attitude that we have, and this is the attitude that you have.
Exactly.
But when you take that type of faith and you put it and you give it to this country, because we love America. Do you love America?
I love America.
I love America, brother. You see what I'm saying? You know, but the unfortunate thing is that America don't love us. And the fact is because America don't love us, we're asking to give us our money, to allow us to establish our own military,
Exactly.
to bring forth our own government, and to give us our reparations. This proposal, all we're asking George Bush to do is to sign the H.R. 40 that's going up before him that would investigate reparations. And then we're asking them to sign Thomas Jefferson's bill into law that says that they will arm us. It says they will arm us, they will give us whatever building utensils it took in order for us to become a strong nation, and that they will ship us back to our homeland, that we can start to rebuild, and they will give us subsidies until we became a strong nation. Sign this time. All we asking President Bush to do is to sign Thomas Jefferson's bill into law. You came into office, President Bush, and you said, I came in just like Thomas Jefferson. You made that statement at your inaugural address. So now fulfill every aspect of Jefferson's presidential time. Sign his bill into law. Allow us, as soldiers, as sons of soldiers, to leave this country, to go back, and just like we tamed the West, let us go back to Africa and tame the East. And the fact is, brother, you know, what else? I mean, I understand that was a situation where, you know, like you said, it brought you to tears, this whole situation that,
Right.
you know, and since you, but the fact is, brother, that you are, from what I understand here, you know, they just don't give, they just ain't giving this stuff away to, they just ain't giving these away to anybody out there, brother. So you did receive some type of medal, or some type of medal over there, but at the same time, from what you understand, according to the valor and according to how you fought without a weapon on the front line. And we saw the pictures of the people that was killed. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and then, I mean, you almost had to kill these people with your bare hands, didn't you, brother?
Yeah, basically.
You know what I'm saying? So what we got showing here, I mean, well, this is one here, brother. Let me take that's one there. So what's that one for?
Well, this basically is the Southwest Asia Service Medal.
Okay.
And that's the Kuwaiti Liberation Medal.
Okay.
And these two pieces were basically given to all soldiers who participated
Oh, okay.
in that conflict over there.
Okay.
Now, soldiers who excelled or, you know, did what they were supposed to,
Okay.
quote unquote, they received the medal that we call the ARCOM or the AAM. It's the Army Commendation Medal.
Okay.
You know, or either one of those two medals. And upon our return back to, because I was stationed in Fort Carson, Colorado at the time.
Okay.
So when our unit made it back to Fort Carson, they started having the award ceremonies to give those awards out. I didn't get these till later on after the fact.
Oh, okay.
You know, just, I guess, because they knew I had to have these two. But the other ones, they were like given to say, okay, we appreciated your service helping our unit the way you did over there.
Okay.
I never received neither one of those two medals.
And you should have, I mean, considering that you was on the front line without a weapon.
Right, we supported the 1st Infantry Division.
And you were there. You know, we saw the pictures again. You know, the fact that, you know, we seeing dead men laying in
Right.
tanks. You know what I'm saying? You know,
it got pretty graphic.
I mean, you know, and you were there on the front line.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying? And the fact is that in order for you not to receive one of the highest recommendations as far as I'm concerned. Again, that's an oversight.
Right.
You know, but the point is, again, this is showing that although we put forth our all,
Exactly.
you know, to the degree that we don't receive equal to the other people that very well would receive it, you know, even greater than we would. But let me let you for 1 second. You know, is there anything that you really want to say in your heart at this point to your child or to your fellow children or someone else that very well might be in the military right now? Do you think that it's what we're saying here as far as give us our own land, give us our country, let us step out on our own as men and our own army, and it's time for us to get our reparations to lead? What do you think about this actual proposal yourself personally?
Well, as I look at you repeat and stress these reparations that we deserve, I can't help but think back at the brother Marcus Garvey when he first brought this to our people and to the forefront, you know, and I can't see why our country wouldn't be willing to do that, you know what I mean? Because you either gonna give us liberty or give us death, you know what I mean? And it's like, me being in the military and in Desert Storm, I went over there not to receive those medals that I didn't get. You know, I didn't go over there to receive big medals. I went over there just so I can get out of my present condition back home to be able to take care of my family. But I thought I was under the impression that when I left, I would have something that would be a little more stable for my kids when I got ready to come back home. And it, you know, it didn't turn out the way I thought, you know what I mean? So it's still a constant struggle for me here as well as the rest of my family.
And our people.
Exactly.
And our people as a whole. And this is the whole issue we keep saying, is that every war we go, every war we fight in, we're still dealing with the same issues of equality. We're still dealing with the same issues of trying to get jobs, trying to go to the whole issues, going to the whole struggles of social problems, you follow me, in our community. You see what I'm saying? Everything, you know, right now, they treat our community like a war zone. You fought in one of the major wars and one of the victorious wars that America fought in within our generation. And I bet on the street right now, they treat you just like a thug. The cops probably treat you just like a thug on the street, brothers.
Of course, because it's stereotypical of our people, especially around certain age brackets, you know, and the environment that we live in. I was born and raised in Stateway Gardens, you know, one of the, I guess you could say it's one of the roughest housing projects on the low end of Chicago. But they now, it's the war, it looks like a battle zone down there right now, the way they knocking the buildings down.
Well, see, that's why I keep telling people that, you know, it'll be no problem for us to go to Africa, for us to go to Israel, for us to go anywhere. You see what I'm saying? Because we are already in a battle zone, in a war zone. We're already living in a police state. So the fact is that this is the reason why when we step out of this country, we tamed the West. You see what I'm saying? The Buffalo Soldiers went in there and dealt with the enemies, dealt with the enemy. You see what I'm saying? And we was able to do what the other soldiers couldn't do. You see what I'm saying? And so we went into Japan. We was able to do what people over there couldn't do. We went to Germany. We was able to do what people couldn't do. We shortened the war, and they know it. Lincoln they was gonna lose the Civil War until Lincoln let the black troops step up front there. So I mean, the point is, but we're not gonna say that our white brothers, you know what I'm saying, are not men like we are. But what we're saying is that it's time for us to stand up as men and start going back home and asking for our reparations. We're asking for our reparations to rebuild our homeland. We're asking for reparations that we can establish our own country.
Exactly.
And we're asking for reparations that we can give brothers like you. You see brother, so
If you didn't know, you confess your minute.